Yep. We got this one right. I mean, and I'm talking about whether you want to just, as ownership, look at a 30,000-foot view and say, man, our defense just held on and won us a game down the stretch, and we got a bunch of guys injured, and we got a bunch of cap space so we can plug in better players down the road. Or you want to dig into this thing like we just did. The play callers are an absolute weapon. These guys are as prepared as anybody in the league, and they are willing to adjust. No matter how deep you dig, when you evaluate DeMeco Ryans, it's just flat out the McNair family and ownership got this thing right.
Yeah, they did. And you look at them, hey, you can't feel any better 6 weeks in with the two most important spots on a team, and that is the head coach and the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And you got first-year guys at both of those spots, and you just cannot feel any better right now. All right, big day for the Astros, and Clint, the lineup is out, and just as we suspected, there are some sweeping changes in this lineup. New players in that didn't play in the last game, as well as switches in the lineup. We will discuss and give that to you coming up next on The Drive.
I tell you what, there ain't a better feeling than when I get on that
Sports Radio 610 presents The Drive with Stoerner and Hughley.
All right, welcome back into The Drive as the lineup is out, guys. Dusty has put the lineup out finally. The Rangers.
I know what I'm doing.
I know you do, Dusty. The Rangers, their lineup is out. Pretty much the same. Evan Carter back in that spot in left field, and everything else the same for Max Scherzer. But this is where Dusty Baker and the Houston Astros are going, and there are some changes. And 713-572-4610, buckle up on YouTube and Twitch as well. You can give us your feedback. How do you feel about the lineup? Here we go. Sporting a 0-0 average in the series. Jose Altuve will be leading off. And then here is the first shakeup. In left field, batting second. We talked about this yesterday, wondered if this would be the case. Michael Brantley, he is in the 2 spot. I believe Mickey is there in Arlington. Clint,
did he get a field pass?
Not 100% sure. I think he is. Actually, I think he's at the hotel across the street giving his input. That's where they have him held up. The Rangers wouldn't let him into the building. But Brantley batting second. Bregman, who had been in that 2 spot, he moves down. So if you see it, we got right, left, right. Bregman's batting third. Yordan Alvarez, he is the DH. Lefty batting fourth. Jose Abreu batting fifth. Then Kyle Tucker. So Kyle Tucker drops from 3-4, which is where he is hit, to the 6th spot. Really not a surprise there, as Dusty told the media yesterday. He had a conversation with him. Hold that thought. 6th spot, is that too low? We'll get to that. And then another change we also suspected potentially could happen, and that is in center field. Mauricio Dubon, who is in center field, he is batting behind Tucker in the 7th spot. Jeremy Pena batting 8th, and then Martin Maldonado. So it is Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Yordan Alvarez, Abreu, Tucker in the 6th spot. Dubon, not Chaz, in at center field, Pena and Martin Maldonado. All right, 713-572-4610 or on YouTube and Twitch. Your thoughts on the lineup. The big ones that stick out, Brantley's in the 2 spot, Tucker's in the 6th spot behind Abreu, and then Dubon's in center. Your thoughts on the lineup?
I got zero problems, big fella.
You don't really?
I got zero. I love Brantley batting second. Dusty, for whatever reason, loves the right, left. Well, you got 6 of them jokers.
He's kicking it off.
You got that thing rocking and rolling. Look, if moving from Kyle Tucker down in the lineup is what he and Dusty discussed, and that's best for him, so be it. I don't have any problem with any of the guys that are batting above Kyle Tucker at this point in time. I don't have a problem at all with Mauricio Dubon being in center field over White Boy Chaz. I know a lot of people don't believe that is coming out of my mouth, but I've watched White Boy Chaz over the last month, and he's not the hitter that he was during the season. He's been struggling. Mauricio Dubon, I got more confidence, gets a quality at bat. In this case, he's going to get 3 or 4 of them more than White Boy Chaz. Now, if it were me, I've made this point before, I would start Diaz. I would start Diaz at the catcher position at this point in time. You got to generate some runs. That one swing of the bat can change the game. I think we're at that point where that's needed. But I understand why Maldonado is in there. So I have zero problems with anything in this lineup. I would only make that one Diaz for Maldonado change if it were indeed me putting pencil to paper.
Yeah, I didn't know if he would drop Tucker this low to 6. I thought maybe it'd be 5th, but no, I'm actually not surprised at all. I think I like the Dubon move there in center field. I just think you need to have better at bats.
Agreed.
You just got to have better at bats tonight, and I mean there is honestly, besides Martin Maldonado. And to be honest with you, I would, and I'm saying this because of what we've watched, even if Diaz were the catcher, it would still, he would still fit in this boat. You feel pretty good in moments, even with the struggles of Tucker and Altuve, because they have a track record. You feel pretty good about these guys in moments where they got to come up with a hit or put the ball in play, that they will at least give you good at-bats, that give you good at-bats to give you a chance, even with Altuve, him swinging out of his shoes. And I still believe, even you got to ride with it, but I believe you feel like you have a pretty good chance at least at getting a good at-bat from these guys. So your thoughts texting in as I see people – Maldonado, damn, it was almost perfect as people like, yeah, I mean, I hear you for some reason. I mean, my man's 0 for 10 with 5 strikeouts. I mean, half the time he's not even getting on. So I mean, I get what the thought is with him. He's just not putting together good at bats right now. And you really need that in a big space, and obviously the Christian Javier factor for Maldonado at catcher. I'll say this, Clint. Tucker in the 6th spot, the moments are going to find him.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to find him.
I'm telling you, Ron.
They're gonna find, he's going to come up, I bet you, 1 or 2 times where Duck's on the pond, because he's two away from Yordan Alvarez, who they are not going to fool with. But he is still going to come up. When they say the pressure come up, I think there's going to be pressure moments for him, and you just hope that it's the Kyle Tucker from the first 5 months.
Ron, I'll argue that there's more pressure getting moved down, because now you've added the pressure of, damn, I mean, I just led the AL in RBIs, and here we are 4 or 5 games into the damn playoffs, and I'm getting bumped to 6.
That's a bad situation.
I mean, I don't understand the whole lessen the pressure. I'm cool with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely 100% cool with the move, no doubt about it. But I just don't buy the whole lessen the pressure thing. I think there's pressure for every damn one of these guys. I think they're in this situation. You're down 2-0 going to Arlington, and we can talk about Arlington's bullpen, and we can talk about getting to that bullpen, and we can talk about how, boy, they've just been lucky because these 2 starters went deep and they didn't have to really expose their bullpen. Talk about it any way you want to. But at the end of the day, you're playing a squad that's got as much firepower as you have. And from a hitter's perspective, if you don't score runs and over let's say a 4-game or more series, if you don't score a run, you have no chance. You have absolutely zero chance. And so, I mean, these guys, every single one of these guys got pressure on them. And with every out that's made, when you're not leading, that pressure is going to go through the roof.
Yeah. And one thing I do love is and Tyler has been saying it the whole way, you got to find a way to get guys on base in front of Yordan to make things happen. Because if they're a guy, or if there are men on base in front of Yordan, either they're going to be crazy enough and pitch to him, which I don't know that Bruce Bochy will, or you just give yourself more opportunities to have big innings. Right, and Yordan, and I'm sorry, and Abreu and Tucker, you're hoping that the guys that have been there, they've been run producers. One led the AL in RBIs, the other one had 90 this year, and Abreu was the MVP of the Twins series. You hope the thought is they got more guys on base. They keep coming up with 1 and 2 guys on base that eventually they will come through.
Yeah.
And that's the chance. And with Brantley being in that 2 spot, you increase those odds. So he did make some changes, and I love it. I just want to say this before we go wherever we go, and that is to Texans Report with Brendan Scott. Jeremy Pena, who was the ALCS MVP last year and the World Series MVP. Jeremy, I listen, I'm putting this on you. Jeremy has not hit a home run since Independence Day.
When?
That is July 4th. Or it was July 5th, but I'm going ahead and rotate that thing up to the holiday. He has not hit. I mean, I'm certain Clint was in the hill country. I was in Kansas City. I mean, people have had children. Look, come on. He has not hit a home run since Independence Day.
Jeez.
This guy who hit over 20 home runs last year has big power.
Yeah.
Go deep tonight. But put that up. You're going deep tonight,
You could
Jeremy.
say he's due.
The 4th of July?
I did not know it was that long ago, dude. That is...
Jeremy, that's one of the things. He's a power hitting shortstop. The fourth.
Over 3 months.
He plays. He's a right-handed hitter in the Crawford boxes. He's not hit. What? Man, this is Hughley territory. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Who you going with the bomb? Right? He's got Pena. Who you going with?
Come on, man. The fourth.
I think we get a leadoff bomb from Jose Altuve.
Oh hell.
I mean,
and maybe a second.
I mean, how about if we get
there's no chance in hell Max is throwing anything straight.
How about if we get a single between first and second from Altuve? That would really turn me on.
That's not as fun.
That would turn me the hell on.
I give him the first swing. The first swing, you want to be selfish, that's fine. Can we just have the team have those next two? How about that? All right.
I'm going to Brayu.
You going to Brayu?
Yep.
Be big.
I'm gonna go with Roflo. He said he played a little MLB the show, and Brayu had 3 bombs. I think he gets 1 tonight.
Come on, Jeremy. I mean, he flirted with the warning track in the last one. All right, in the 9th inning. Coming up, Texans report. Yes, it is a bye week, but Brandon Scott has been out as Nick Caserio has spoke this week, and then D'Amico Ryans has also spoken, and some news. They've added some players and had the injury bug hit them again. Texans report with Brandon Scott coming up next.
Before we do that, I got to tell you about Mo Karam Law Firm. Look, if you ever found yourself in an Uber or Lyft and you had an accident, pick up the phone and call Mo Karam Law at 281-222-2222. When it comes to rideshare accidents, there's one name to trust, there's one name to call, and that is Mo Karam Law Firm. They are Houston's rideshare attorneys. Look, if you've been in any kind of accident, if it's an auto accident, big truck accident, slip and fall accident at work, Mo Karam Law is who you need to call. I just wanted to make sure and point it out that rideshare accidents do happen, and
Usually today would be a day we hear from D'Amico and C.J. Stroud, but it is the bye week. But there is still news. There is still news on the injury front, and they have added a new player. What's the latest going on at NRG in terms of news?
Yeah, so the big news, I think, is obviously Eric Murray going to the injured list. I think that's probably the biggest piece of news. And then, of course, hearing from Nick Caserio was, if not newsy, at least interesting, because I think that the way you look at the team, the outlook of the team has to change based off of the 3-3 start, based off of the strength of the schedule, and honestly, based off of some of the things that he's talked about on the belief, C.J. Stroud, the belief in D'Amico Ryans, the sort of culture that they've already built and established just 6 weeks into a season. Like, it's really impressive stuff. Clint, you talked about how they're playing, like, the way that they're playing on defense, everybody's sort of playing in harmony way that you're supposed to. I mean, some of the only complaints that we've had, we saw addressed and adjusted in this Saints win. The offensive line, the run game, mixing it up a little bit more with not just going all Dameon Pierce, but doing a little bit more playing to Pierce's strengths and mixing it in with Devin Singletary. It seems like they feel like they got a lot of things that they can kind of cling to and build off of after this week of the bye week.
Yeah, look, I think there's a ton to build off of. How do you one thing you mentioned right there, the running back situation. I know you're over there every day with them, and look, we hear, reports come out of the building of Dameon Pierce not going to his locker and this and that, and then we watch a game where clearly Devin Singletary was made more of a priority.
Yeah,
and so whether the locker situation was real or not, I mean, there's clearly an adjustment made at the running back position. Ron and I talked about this yesterday of kind of how we see the running back, the role of running back playing out with the Texans. How do you see that, B. Scott, being over there as much as you are?
Well, and that's what I'm getting at. I think that they have unlocked something. It's not as much as, like, it's obviously a demotion for Dameon Pierce to not be the guy that gets the bulk of the carries, to be splitting the carries. But I've always thought that that's the type of back that he should be anyway, not just from – based off the fact that that's what he's done in the past, but just off of his playing style and running style to begin with. Mm-hmm. I don't think you want to do too much of that, and you want to have a complementary back to go with that. And I think Devin Singletary has shown them enough, has done enough, especially in that Saints game, to give them that confidence. When you add on top of it the fact that Dameon Pierce has not quite caught on to the blocking scheme yet, quite caught on to the –
yeah, that would be probably it.
It's a mixture of both. And them – and we talked about this last week, being good coaches, and this is a credit to D'Amico Ryans and really I would say Bobby Stewart, to saying, you know what, maybe Dameon does this better. Maybe we block this better for Dameon. Maybe he sees it this way better, and maybe we play into that, feed into that. I think that's what you're going to see moving forward. More of a mix between Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary the way that you did.
I tell you one thing too, as you're talking, it just dawns on me. Like I think if assuming Dameon Pierce, which you know better than anybody, but I think Dameon Pierce seems to be a very coachable, very level-headed dude. I mean,
and team guy.
I think he's got a lot to learn. Like, he can get significantly better in his run style and particularly in being patient in his run style. There's several cuts on that film where I saw Devin Singletary do things that Dameon Pierce needs to do better. So my point is he should be able to watch those reps of Devin Singletary and go, damn.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a perfect example in my offense, in my game, with my teammates, with my offensive line of, man, if I'm just a little bit more patient, I can do those things too.
Yeah, and I just think it's a great example of something that was easy to overlook about the change in this offense, how you could see it differently as a back, like just based off of, just schematically, what he sees, the holes that he might see in the previous game that he ran is not the same. And I think we probably overlooked that. We said, hey, this is a scheme that likes to run the ball. It's a running back friendly scheme, and we just figured that you insert Dameon Pearson, it's going to all be gravy, but that's not exactly the case.
No, it hasn't been. Brandon Scott with us, Texans Report. By the way, hey, Brandon, he'll be out with us tomorrow. You can join the drive. Stoerner and Hughley will be out with our good friends at Bud Light. Buffalo Wild Wings, Thirsty Thursday, out at the Copperfield Buffalo Wild Wings, right off Highway 6. Come join us, a little Thirsty Thursday. Grab some wings, some good cold Bud Light.
I'm excited about that,
and
man.
Have a good time with us. Yeah,
it'll be a good remote with you guys, man. I'm excited about that.
Scott will be out there with us. Brandon, we were talking about the injury thing. Eric Murray's the big thing, and they have the bye week, which is good. It's just now with the secondary, probably more of a strength in terms of numbers they have there.
Yep.
But what could we see here? Because, yes, you look at it, man, Eric Murray's in. We were talking about it, but this means MJ Stewart, some of these guys, they've moved up. But we are in the 4th week of the Derek Stingley injury. Is there a point that he could potentially come back? Tavier Thomas has practiced the last 2 weeks, but has been inactive in the games. Is this a chance where he gets back? What is the secondary going to look with this loss of Eric Murray?
Well, to me, it's a sign of progress when the biggest news and bad news is your backup safety going on the injured reserve. And the only reason why I think that's news is because he's played a lot. Like, he's a reserve safety, but he started 4 games because your starting safeties have been hurt. So that's the only reason why it is news. I think going forward, to your question, Tavier Thomas, as you mentioned, has practiced. You gotta think that the bye week is going to give that hand some extra time. And by the time that they get back and get ready to go to Carolina, that he's going to be the guy that's playing in the nickel. Look, they got rid of Desmond King in part because they wanted to get rid of Desmond King, but also because they like Tavier Thomas, even to the disagreement of this show to a lot of degree, I understand. But they liked him. On top of the fact, though, with Jimmy Ward, they wanted him to come here play safety. Like, that's not part of the plan. Like I don't feel like
he was playing nickel last week.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they like Jimmy Ward, not just from a football standpoint, but just in terms of how they want to use him. I don't think they like him at nickel as much as they like putting, say, Titus Howard at left guard. Like, I think they want Jimmy Ward at safety. And so if they get an opportunity to do that, Tavier Thomas can come back. I think you're definitely going to see that. So going forward, your depth is hurt a little bit with Eric Murray as a guy that's been reliable for you as a depth piece for the last 4 years. But I think that, look, between Tavier Thomas coming back and Derek Stingley, there's the one unanswered question that we don't have is when exactly is Derek Stingley going to –
That was what I wanted to know.
When is he going to feel good enough to play? Because he can come back. He can come back.
Is there any chance that you're hearing – have you heard any thoughts that could be a possibility? Because we're seeing it. Juice Scruggs could have come back 2 weeks ago.
If I'm handicapping it right now as we speak, I would say it's unlikely. I would say I would be surprised if he came back, even though he could, even though he's technically eligible to come back. I would be surprised if he's actually healthy enough to do
Juice?
So, based off of what I know. Now, Juice, I do expect to be back, and that's the one I know you guys were talking about earlier. That'll be an interesting thing to watch. Really something that I'm putting a pin in. Juice Scruggs, Jared Patterson. Do they just bump Jared Patterson over to guard and put Titus back? I know you said you didn't like that, Clint, but it at least intrigues me. I know you think it's probably not as good of an idea. But given the fact that Patterson's been respectable at center and he does play guard, I would like to see what that looks like.
Yeah, look, well, I think Fant's playing a really good tackle right now. And when we start talking about Juice Scruggs and or Titus Howard in relation to Jarrett Patterson, I mean, we're talking about second and first round gifted dudes versus a 6th rounder who he's played well. Don't get me wrong.
He's played up to
well. And look, I'll be honest with you. If I didn't think, if I were a coach and I was privy to all the information, if I didn't think that there would, like, Juice Scruggs, like, just gave me an enormous advantage athletically and physically, then I wouldn't make a change at all because Jarrett Patterson is playing well enough, and as a group, you're playing well enough. What I'm saying is, if there's a chance that they look at Juice Scruggs and go, Juice is just significantly better than this dude.
I think there's a good chance of that.
He's more gifted.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that. But where I'm interested is at guard. Here's what I'm saying, Clint. You got something to figure out there at left guard. You got a situation there because you drafted a guy a couple drafts ago that hasn't been able to pan out yet, and you just drafted another guy that's played above. So you got a guy that's played beneath and a guy that's played above. I'd like to figure that out if I can. And I'm talking about Juice Scruggs. I'm with you at center and seeing what Patterson can do for you at guard and put Titus Howard back in his natural position.
Here's the deal. If they do make that move, then we all got to sit here and feel really good about Jarrett Patterson at guard. Because I think Bobby Slowick is smarter than to create a what if, or let's hope that a 6th round draft pick works at guard just so we can move Titus Howard back to right tackle where you've got a right tackle that's playing well, right? So it's the creating the void. Like, you better be damn sure that whoever you're plugging in at left guard can get that job done.
Yeah, and I might be making the mistake of assuming that he can do it based off of how well he's played at center. I understand there's different positions, but I am intrigued.
Fair.
I'm interested.
You've got there's 6 games of tape there you can watch. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that. He better be damn good. It can't just be a what if.
Yeah, because you moved up to go get Juice in the second round. You moved up to go get him in the second round, and you had him there. I don't know. I don't know. He's played at that level where he is unseatable.
No, not
You
at
know what
all.
I mean? So
It's more experimental than anything. If I'm
But you
looking
know
at
me,
it.
hey
Yeah.
man, anything to get Titus over to that right tackle position, I'm all about that thing. I'm all about that thing. All right. Coming up, as we appreciate you, Brandon. He comes every single Wednesday with us on his Texans report. He'll be with us tomorrow out at Buffalo Wild Wings, a little Thirsty Thursday as well. Game 3, we'll get it set up for you. We know the pitchers. We know Javier versus Scherzer. What are they potentially going to get out of Scherzer? And the lineup is out, and there are some real changes to that lineup. We'll get to that coming up next. But before
Sports Radio 610 presents The Drive with Stoerner and Hughley. It's the 5 o'clock fire, brought to you by Regions Bank.
It is 5 o'clock. Congratulations. Luckily for you, old Dirty Dilf and Psycho T have the latest. And the latest is it's a huge, huge game 3 tonight. The Houston Astros. You feel like the season's on the brink right now?
Yes.
Tyler, you feel like the season's on the brink?
Must win in every sense.
Must win. Roger Clemens said it's a must win, and most have said it's a must win, even though it wouldn't end the season. But it would be it would be tough to go down 3-0. The only team that has been able to come back from that is the 2004 Boston Red Sox, and that's it. So the Astros really need to get this game and get it to 2-1, and it starts with Christian Javier on the mound. We'll get to that in a second, but Clint, here is the lineup. And if you are just getting off work or you're just rolling around, I know many of you have been working hard, you haven't been able to check a lot of things. Here is the lineup, and the lineup has some changes and some shifts in it. Altuve will continue to lead off. He is playing second base and leading off there. Brantley, Michael Brantley, him and Jordan seem to be in game 2 the only 2 bats that were giving consistent, good ABs. That's it. Those 2. I know Bregman went deep, but outside of that, consistent ABs, they were giving the best. He has been moved up to the 2 spot. He's playing left field, so Altuve, Brantley, Bregman drops down to the 3 hole, and then Jordan Alvarez is the DH bat 4th. Kyle Tucker, who had been up in that space, he's been dropped behind Abreu. Abreu is behind Jordan Alvarez in the 5 spot. Then Kyle Tucker. Another change, as we'll get to the Tucker change, another change here. Mauricio Dubon, he is in at center field for Chas McCormick. And then Pena and Maldonado go ahead and round out the lineup, Clint. But the big change is Brantley is batting second, which we kind of saw coming. Tucker batting 6th. Did you surprised he dropped that low in the lineup?
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, because look, the right left thing. I mean, love it or hate it. Dusty is. I mean, he is. I mean, that's his deal. And so if you're going to move Brantley up, it's hard to justify moving Bregman down below these other guys. It's obviously hard to move Jordan Alvarez any lower than 4th in this lineup. And the way you get another right-left situation is to bump Jose Abreu up. So, no, I'm not surprised that Tucker's 6. I'm not surprised that Brantley's at 2. And I am not surprised at all that Mauricio Dubon is in center field. I have no problem with it. You want to talk about guys getting good quality at bats. Right now, one of the best in this lineup is Dubon. When it comes down to, we've got a year's worth of Dubon. Now, I know he played different positions, but at the plate, we got a year worth of watching Mauricio Dubon get great bats at the plate, be clutch in clutch moments, and this is one of those times where the shakeup is happening. Mauricio Dubon being inserted and getting more action makes too much damn sense.
Yeah, the hope is that, listen, Jordan Alvarez in the middle there. The hope is there is more traffic in front and behind him. There's more production in front and behind him, right? Am I right on this, Tyler? In game 2, he never, ever came to the plate with anybody on base.
I believe that is correct.
Jordan,
Very unfortunate.
He was 3rd. My man hit 2 home runs and had a walk. He never came to the plate with anybody on base.
Well,
they've got to change that, because to me, that is if he is getting on base, or if there are people in front of him getting on base, they are going to be careful. They're going to be careful with him, with the way that he is playing, and then being careful with him then opens up the opportunities, man. You get guys 1st and 2nd. You get guys 1st and 3rd. You start to get guys on base.
You know what I mean?
They got to pitch a certain way, and then you just got to, you got to trust that these guys, Abreu and Tucker, who have been RBI guys this year, that they will come through like they have most of the season. And if, as you said after game 1, and we said it, if, man, they can't come through, you got to tip your cap.
Yep.
Right? Like, you're going to have to at that point, man. And And so to me, that is the big deal. More traffic in front and behind him in this thing. But Christian Javier, he gets the start tonight against Max Scherzer. And Christian Javier has been a big-time postseason pitcher. They need him to bring another solid performance. Need the postseason guy and not the guy that has been in the regular season. The last time he faced the Rangers, they lit him up. He's got to come back and be smart. And I heard Roger talking about this a bit earlier, and I think this is key. The Rangers clearly have had a game plan the first two games. They are not waiting. They are swinging. They're swinging at the first pitch. I mean, Clint, we sat there. Framber had, what was the score? Well, it was.
I think they scored 4 runs and there was 8 pitches or something like that.
It was 4-0 on 8 pitches.
Yeah.
The first two batters swung at the first pitch and got singles. Like, they weren't waiting, and they did it to Verlander too. Verlander adjusted, start throwing off-speed stuff. That's something that Javier and quite frankly, I expect Maldonado as well to come together and understand what the game plan is. These guys are – it's like basically 9 Jose Altuves and Diaz is coming to the plate. Like, they're not waiting. They're swinging. So they've got to make some adjustments there on the Rangers, Clint. So Javier's big tonight.
For me, it's obviously Javier, man. I mean, if Javier goes out there and if he nails and gives you 6 innings of high strikeout, shutout baseball, 1-run baseball, 2-run baseball even. Because now you're talking about the Astros have to make an absolute crazy run in order to win this thing. And so now I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but if you're going to win a ball game tonight, you got to have the best Christian Javier. You got to have playoff Christian Javier, and you've got to have a good 5 or 6 innings out of this guy. To not only great innings, but where the bullpen doesn't get taxed as well, so that tomorrow night when you got Jose Urquidy, you got all your guns available at that point in time. So tonight's about Christian Javier. I firmly believe that this lineup, even with some of the guys struggling, can give you 4 or 5. So if Christian Javier goes out there and he keeps this Rangers lineup down early on and doesn't let them get hot and get the momentum, I think the Astros got a real chance of winning this thing.
Yeah, man. We've said it. They have got to face some adversity. This run, the Rangers, they get up, baby, and it's clockwork. We got the lead, and let's roll. Right? We ain't got to pitch anybody we really don't want to pitch. Mm-hmm. We're scoring as many runs as we want. We ain't trailing. We have they've got to get uncomfortable. You've said the first 2 games they were extremely comfortable
the whole time.
Everything they did.
The only time they puckered up right in the first game was when Bregman hit that deep one in that little catty corner thing out there in left field, and then obviously when bases were loaded in the game with no outs and Eovaldi just
had a chance there. Yep.
Worked his way out of that joker.
Got it.
I mean, really, other than that, man, there wasn't. Maybe after the Brantley double that made it. Isn't that what made it 5-4 or something like that?
It was Jordan's homer. Maybe Jordan's homer in the 8th made it 5-4. Yep. And then after that, their closer they bring in, he just starts throwing balls, and then the Chaz at bat occurred after that.
But for the most part, the point is that the Rangers they hadn't had to do a whole lot, to be honest with you.
Just played their game. Yep. Not uncomfortable, no nervous moments. So hopefully the Astros can change that up as they move to Arlington.
5 o'clock fire.
All right, Clint, let me know how you feel, how big of a deal this is to you. The Texans, they're forced to place another player on IR. I mean, this seems to be a revolving door on this IR situation. Another player in the secondary already is Derek Stingley. He is on the IR. Eric Murray has been placed on the injured reserve. They've signed Alex Austin to the practice squad and promoted D'Angelo Ross to the 53-man roster. Eric Murray pretty much has started as many games as anybody in that secondary damn near. He started 4 games this year and was a big piece out there when Jimmy Ward was out, as well as Jalen Petrie. He's going to be out for at least 4 games. How big a deal do you think this is, the loss of Eric Murray for the next 4 weeks at least?
Well, I think it's a big deal because it compounds the issue at safety right now with Jimmy Ward having to play the nickel defender. I don't think it's going to be as easy as Tavier Thomas comes back and all of a sudden you can move Jimmy Ward back to safety. I believe Jimmy Ward moving to nickel defender has been a work in progress. One of those things where, like, damn, we don't have any other options. And I understand Tavier Thomas has been injured, but I'm telling you, I just watched Jimmy Ward matched up with Chris Olave multiple snaps. And now he gave up 2 catches for 37 yards to Chris Olave. It's really all he gave up in man situations. But it's not ideal. It's not something that you want to just make a habit of doing week in, week out, because if that pressure doesn't get there, then Jimmy Ward's going to struggle. But he at least is good enough to play press man and cover them manned up for 10, 15 yards and keep them from just torching you, right? I don't believe that you're going to put Tavier Thomas out there and he's going to be able to do that. You got to put a cover defender out there in those situations. If you're going to pressure the way DeMeco Ryans wants to pressure, you got to put a cover defender out there. And so I don't know that it's as seamless and as easy as if Tavier Thomas gets healthy, then you just plug him in. I think it more depends on Stingley getting healthy, and then maybe one of those other corners, Nelson or Shaquille Griffin being able to move in, or Jason Verrett, who they signed, who they say is healthy, who DeMeco Ryans is really high on. Maybe he can help there. I don't think it's going to be as seamless to where you just plug another guy in and you just keep on rocking and rolling for 4 quarters with the same game plan. They're going to have to adjust in a big way.
Yeah. So we'll see there. Like you said, hopefully after the bye week, maybe 2 more come in. Maybe at least 1 more come in. Maybe at least they have the ability to use Tavier Thomas in the way they want to, because we were just talking to Brandon before. It seems like they want to play Jimmy Ward at safety.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to have that ability to do that.
Ron, I would imagine it sounded like that was kind of one of the reasons that Jimmy Ward came here. One of the conditions of hey, man, I'm coming here to play safety. I ain't coming here to play nickel. But there's when you – I mean – I think they were put in a position where Jimmy probably went to DeMeco and said, hey, man, I'll do whatever the hell you need me to do. I'll void that clause in the contract. I'll do whatever the hell you need me to do to keep this thing together. And so you're right. At some point in time, I would imagine he's going to go back to safety. What's the answer going to be? There's multiple options on the table for the Texans. That's a good thing. We'll see which one DeMeco chooses to ride with.
Yep. They also make another move. They claim Majay Sanders, the former 3rd-round pick in 2022. He has 2 years left on his deal. He was with the Cardinals. He's a defensive end, a potential pass rusher. So they claim him on waivers to try to maybe beef up that pass rush as they add another defensive end to the fold. So that is the latest there. They're doing work. It's a bye week, but they still are busy over there with news and potentially adding other pieces over there for the Texans.
5 o'clock fire.
All right, we heard there was a possibility that Anthony Richardson would be out for the year, the rookie quarterback with the Colts. Somebody we will see potentially a lot here with the Texans, and there could be a rivalry there with him and C.J. Stroud going in the first 4 picks of the draft. This was Ian Rappaport giving the latest update on Anthony Richardson and his season-ending surgery.
Just talked to owner Jim Irsay, met with reporters a couple minutes before the show, and essentially said he understands why Anthony Richardson opted for surgery. His words, he understands that long-term it is the best thing just based on how Richardson was feeling. He also, I think, spoke for a lot of us, saying that he was looking forward to the Anthony Richardson versus C.J. Stroud Rookie of the Year race, and I think that's probably the way it was heading. It is pretty clear they know they have their franchise guy. They love everything about Richardson, just not going to see him until next season when he should be fully healthy.
All right, they say they love everything about him, and yes, we were looking forward to seeing the C.J. Stroud thing. I'm curious from you, Clint, because Anthony Richardson, as you would say, and as we were looking in the quarterback thing throughout the lead up to the draft, and Anthony Richardson clearly was the biggest bust potential, but also had the most talent and had the highest ceiling. He only played 4 games, and he didn't play full 4 of those games. We watched him here leave after somewhere early in the second quarter. But from what you saw of him, you surprised of his play in the 4 games early on with the Colts?
No, it doesn't surprise. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Really?
Look, I did not agree with a lot of the critics, if you will, on his arm. I think there was a lot that went into the inaccuracies that were there with his arm were less mechanical, and to me it was more about a new offense, a lot of moving parts, not being coached well. To me, that was never an issue with me. Now, moving forward, what I don't give a damn what Jim Irsay says or what Shane Steichen says or what any Indianapolis Colt fan says. Your biggest concern with Anthony Richardson is the fact that you just watched him. I believe he left 4 of 5 games before they finished with some level of injury. In the first one, he left twice. You drafted this guy to be a better version of really, if we're being honest, to be a better version, a more powerful version of Jalen Hurts and what they're doing in Philadelphia. And your entire offensive system, which is an offensive-minded head coach, is going to revolve. So the biggest concern with Anthony Richardson is my only concern, to be completely honest with you, and it wasn't there leading up to the season, and it's injury. I mean, because we saw concussion, we've now seen shoulder,
knee.
We saw knee. I mean, we've seen multiple things. I know it's a big dude, and I know he's physically.
And every one of them came from him running.
Yeah.
Not even in the pocket.
So to me, it's something that teams that choose to go that route, which I completely understand why, teams that choose to go that route are just simply going to have to live with season-ending injuries, just like any other quarterback. You're going to have to deal with season-ending injuries, and if you got an athletic quarterback, the risk is a little bit higher. It's just part of it. Hopefully they don't change what Anthony Richardson does, which it doesn't sound like from what Jim Irsay's saying that they're going to even entertain that.
All right, I want to let's make the fourth best producer in all of Afternoon Drive do a little work. 713-572-4610. This is a big day. Let's let the people get involved, because I want you all to have serious. I want to hear your serious opinion. Really think about it. Call in. We'll get you involved. Is this Astros team, the one that is currently constructed, not 17, not 19, not 21, not last year, is this team good enough to win 4 out of 5 games against this Rangers team? I want to hear your true, honest thoughts. We heard from Robert Flores. He said no, flat out. What's your thoughts? 713-572-4610. We'll hear from you on that. Hey, one thing else we need to hear from, and you should be hearing from. Hey, man, you out there enjoying this NFL season? I know many Texans.
Sports Radio 610.
Sports Radio 610 presents The Drive with Stoerner and Hughley.
All right, big one here tonight as the Astros.
Oh, you talking about the Astros?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't talking about me, man.
I didn't know if you saw me in the bathroom or something. I didn't know.
I have. Big one here today, and if we're talking about that, come on over here. No, big one tonight as the Astros, they got to have it. Game 3, Roger Clemens said must win. Roflo, who was on with us earlier, if you missed that, Roflo was on with us from at 2:40. Many of people on the text line, he was annoyed. I hit him with the same thought from that I'm asking you all. Is this team, the current Houston Astros, good enough to win 4 or 5? Because that's what the challenge is in front of them to get to a 5th World Series. Is this team good enough to win 4 or 5 against this Rangers team? 713-572-4610. I want to hear from the people first. Clint, is this good? We already understand Tyler believes that. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into that. Tyler believes that I can hear it with the Astros.
Oh, King Dingaling in there.
Talking about.
That's him, T-Mill.
But is this team to you? Because Robert Flores said no multiple times.
Yeah, no, I think they are. I mean, look, they're obviously their back is against the wall. Down 2-0 going to Arlington. According to Fox Sports, it's a team that gets down 2-0 has never won, come back and won a championship series. And, in fact, in all 7-game series, I think it's happened 14 of like 80-some-odd times. So look, their back's against the wall. No question about it. But is this Astros team, all things considered, are they capable of coming back and winning 4 of the next 5 ball games and appearing in another World Series
against this Rangers team?
Against this Rangers team, the answer is absolutely. This team has had a ton of success in Arlington. They've had a ton of success against the Rangers in general. They played better on the road than they've played at home. And quite frankly, the Rangers aren't playing great. They've had a couple of pitchers that I think pitched out of their mind. Montgomery and Eovaldi pitched really, really well. What they've done is they've avoided the Astros getting to the bullpen for the most part. But they haven't played great. It's not like it ain't nothing like the Phillies, right?
It ain't nothing like the Phillies. The reason why I pose this question is because I don't believe the Diamondbacks are good enough to win 4 out of 5 games against that Phillies.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, who is the way the Phillies played in Game 1 and 2? It's not like the Astros have lost the way the Diamondbacks have lost. And hell, the Diamondbacks are going home, and you still feel like you ain't got a chance. But that's not what the Astros have faced. They have not played good baseball. Period. I mean, they just hadn't played good baseball at all yet. And they got to turn this thing around, and they got to turn it around tonight, or it's going to be too late. But down 2-0, would it surprise me at all if this team was able to win 4 of the next 5? The answer is no. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think it would surprise anybody. Like right now, it may. But Ron, I'm saying like if they go on and win 4 of the next 5, however it happened, right? If they go on and win 4 of the next 5, and the Astros end up in a World Series, the talk of the World Series isn't going to be, damn, I cannot believe the Astros came back against them Rangers, man, down 2-0. I just don't think that's going to be the conversation if it does indeed happen. So I think they got a shot, brother.
They got a shot. I want to hear your honest opinions. I do. I'm with you. I think they can. I want to hear your honest opinions. Jason, let's go kick this thing off. Do you believe the Astros, this team that is currently constructed, is good enough to win 4 or 5 from this Rangers team?
I believe the inconsistency of the hitters is really hurting the Astros, and I kind of agree with Robert Flores that I don't think that they can win.
All right, I hear you. So Jason, I'm sorry, Tyler. Jason agrees with.
What'd you do, Tyler?
Tyler he said it earlier. I don't want to hear these negative people. Oh, that's right there. I got that one now, Jack. I got that one. You're coming in. You're coming in. But they have been inconsistent throughout. But they can obviously catch fire. Greg, your thoughts? Greg, is this group good enough to win 4 or 5 against the Rangers?
Don't worry about winning 4. Win 1. And to quote Clint, make them pucker.
All right, appreciate the call, Greg. Yeah. That's what they're thinking. But luckily for you, we get to think a little further than one game. They probably are with that thing. As I said, 713-572-4610. Do you think this team is good enough to win 4 or 5? My thought is yes, they are. They just don't have the same margin of error they've had in the past because this team isn't as good as the past. Last year, they were able to withstand Jose Altuve just being awful, especially at the start, and not doing anything into the World Series. They were able to withstand just getting absolutely nothing from the DH spot and the catcher spot, to be honest with you. If you remember Trey Mancini and that Litmus Diaz combination, boy, that was a struggle there. And they were able to withstand, some tricky starts from Verlander there and withstand several things last year. I don't know that they are able to withstand that this year. They've got to have their dudes come. They can't just have 3-4 guys that are hugely important, frontline guys, just be no-shows. And game 2, Framber crapped the bed. Kyle Tucker crapped it. Altuve crapped the bed. That's just
a lot of crap in the bed.
That's just too much. And then, I mean, depending on how you feel about Chas McCormick, and Chas McCormick, to me, and I said it earlier in the year, moved into a space where I think he was more of a dependable a player you depended on and not just said, hey, man, just go do something good. He had a couple of really, really poor at-bats that really hurt the team. So I think they're capable of it, and they're good enough. They just don't have the margin for error that they had in the past.
Well, and that's to me, Ron. That's why Christian Javier has to be special.
Yeah.
Right. Because if we're sitting here, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, like we're sitting here, you just rattled up. I mean, Robert Flores brought Pena into the mix. Pena, Diaz. You mentioned White Boy Chaz, Altuve. I mean, look, all these guys. Tucker, obviously. Do we really think that all these guys all of a sudden are just going to light this thing on fire all at the same time? No, I hope they do.
Be nice.
I hope they do. But if I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, what is likely to happen that's going to give us a really good chance? Like, what's possible? Christian Javier going out there and being playoff Christian gives us a chance to win, even if Altuve continues to skid, right? Even if our 6-hole hitter, Kyle Tucker, doesn't lead the AL in RBIs, if that's not the guy we get, at least for this game and maybe the next game. Like Christian Javier has to go out there and be special, or if he's not and this becomes a shootout, now all the guys we've mentioned have to light it up.
Yeah, they got to. All right, 4 out of 5, yeah. All right, Larry and Stafford, your thoughts. Is this team good enough? I know you'll be honest. Is it good enough to win 4 or 5 the way they're playing right now, the way they're constructed right now?
Hell yeah, it's good enough, show. Look here, man. Before I get into it, I heard Roflo call you show, and I didn't hear you do that little mumbling under your breath.
Didn't I correct him, Tyler? I corrected him. I corrected Roflo.
I didn't catch it, man.
I did.
But look here, man. Hell yeah, these boys. Look, this is the same damn lineup that has been in this season, has been up and down, but they got into the playoffs, and they was projected to go on and win the World Series. This is still a formidable lineup over there. And sometimes the games just change and it becomes a little more difficult. And sometimes you got to go through some things. But we still got a damn good outing from Verlander, a Framber meltdown. But then the bullpen came in and shut them boys down. So it's just a matter of they have to go out tonight and play Astro baseball. And Dusty has to manage like Dusty's managed over the years by allowing himself to see that if certain things aren't working, make the moves when you need to make them. This team still is in this thing. It was never the first team to win 2 games. You got to win 4. And I don't think the Rangers' ass has gotten to 4 yet. So, of course, they got a shot. When this thing gets back on track, it's going to be exactly what we thought it was. And I'll tell you this, I'd rather bank on the Astros going up to Arlington win than believing that they can't do it. And all you non-believers, I understand that you're scared of pressure, but this is why these boys get paid to go out there and do these kind of things. So everybody just sit back, pour you a glass of yak or whatever you go drink tonight, and watch these boys go do work. Christian Javier is 5-1 in the postseason. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick on the fact that he's going to be the good Christian tonight and get us this W. Other than that, man, I'm going to sit back and do my thing, Clint, and I'll holler.
All right, listen, Let's hope so. Let's hope so. All right, they're down 0-2, and they've got to change what they've been doing. They've got to take advantage of these. Yes, they got a shot. I'm telling you, they're good enough to win 4 or 5. That's what the true thing is, and they got to put some pressure on the Rangers. All right, coming up, we will continue with this. The starting lineups are out. We'll have to hit the lineups and roll that. And somebody said, hey, man, can the Texans just call Des King? Can they just call Des King to help him out? We'll discuss that, as well as why D'Amico Ryans made the ownership and the McNairs so happy. We'll discuss all of that coming up next.
All right, Clint Stoerner here. And at least once a day, if not twice a day, I got to tell you about these cold Coors Light now. If you're out there and you're already on that Silver Bullet train, you're part of the Coors Light family. There's a lot of y'all out there. I want to tip my cap to you, man. You're drinking the world's most refreshing beer, and you look damn good while you're doing it. I'm seeing more and more people. Every time we go, every Thursday, Friday, we're out and about at a bar during happy hour, watching live sports, breaking good bread with folks, and I see more and more folks drinking the world's most refreshing beer, the Silver Bullet. Y'all know what I like to call them these days, them old wolf killers, right? Again, tip my cap to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're not drinking cold Coors Light, we just want a shot, man. We just want a shot. It's a beer that's made to chill. Who doesn't like that? It's the world's most refreshing. Hell, I love surrounding myself with greatness. And look here, the fine folks up in the Rocky Mountains that brew the cold Coors Light, the first 23,000 cases that came out of the brewery ever of Coors Light was shipped directly to the great state of Texas. That is a huge sign of respect to all of us beer drinkers down here in the Lone Star State. So, hey, take that next exit, hit that C-store, go to Kroger, go to H-E-B, get you a case of cold Coors Light, get them on ice, get them Astros on that TV, root them through. We need a dub.
Live from the Twin Peaks studios, Sports Radio 610 presents The Drive with Stoerner and Hughley.
All right, welcome back. A big day and a big night for the Houston Astros. And we'll be talking about all of it tomorrow, and you can come and see us. Join the drive as we'll be out at Buffalo Wild Wings, a little Thirsty Thursday. The Copperfield Buffalo Wild Wings off Highway 6. So come and join us as we'll have a good time. Grab you some wings. Grab you some queso. Grab you some – the burgers are strong.
Chipotle barbecue wings.
Yes,
dry
Chipotle,
rub.
the dry rub.
Phenomenal.
Solid, very strong. I'm saying the salt and vinegar. Very good, too, dry rub out there as well. They got that. Grab you some cold Bud Light as well.
Don't forget that celery.
It's key. Big day.
Sorry,
Buffalo Wild Wings, you better have your celery on point now.
All right, don't forget the celery as well. But yeah, grab some wings, grab some drinks, and on site, man, you have a chance to win prizes. We generally have 3 or 4 prizes that you can get hooked up with. You have a chance to win, and come have a good time. So the drive will be out, celebrate a little Thirsty Thursday as well, and you can stay out there. As Buffalo Wild Wings, everyone we go to each and every week's got TVs all over the place. A big Thursday night football game that could have real implications towards the Texans as the Jags face the Saints on the road in New Orleans, team the Texans just beat. If the New Orleans Saints can win that game, and by the way, Trevor Lawrence is listed as questionable with the knee issue. I'm sure he'll play. If they can beat the Jags, who've been rolling, who've beaten the Bills and the Falcons and the Colts the last 3 weeks in a row, if they can beat them and the Texans go into the bye week with a chance to play for first place, if they can beat the Panthers, because they've got the tiebreaker, of course, and would have the same amount of losses with the Jags. So a big game to the AFC South. Come hang out with us. Somebody texted in and said, "Yo, why won't the Texans just call Des King?" We just told you they've got more injuries. As Brandon Scott, who was on with us at 440, he said it doesn't seem like Derek Stingley's going to be ready to roll when he's eligible to come off IR after this week. And Tavier Thomas hopefully will be back after the bye, but they just had to place Eric Murray with a meniscus issue on the IR. Somebody say, they won't call Des King? I don't think that one's happening.
It would make a lot of sense if you're of the group that believes that they just cut Des King because he couldn't cover, because he just wasn't good enough to make this team at the nickel defender. If you believe that, then you need to believe and hope like hell that that the Texans go out there and sign Des King, because he would definitely help and be an upgrade at the nickel defender position and would immediately allow Jimmy Ward to go back to safety. Now that I got through with that little spiel, I firmly believe, and I've not moved from my belief and what my eyes tell me, is that he was your best nickel defender in training camp. He can cover. He can do everything that a nickel defender needs to be able to do, especially with a great play caller like D'Amico Ryans. And therefore, I believe that Des King was ran up out of Houston because there was a run-in somewhere, whether it was Nick Caserio or D'Amico Ryans, or there was a disagreement. There was more to him not being a Texan the final cut date than just, he can't cover. We're better off without him. We're making a move that's great for our team. There was more to that, in my opinion, and that is solely based off of what I watched was the best nickel defender in this organization get cut. And so with all that said, I don't believe there's a chance in hell that D'Amico Ryans or Nick Caserio are even remotely interested in bringing Des King back in here. I could be wrong. I would love to see it. I think it would be a great football move, but I don't believe it's even remotely a possibility.
And if you're wondering, the Pittsburgh Steelers, where Des King went after he left the Texans, they have informed him they will release him if they're unable to find a trade partner. So that is why the Des King thought is up with the injuries that they have in the secondary for the Texans. So I don't think he's coming back because I don't think it was. I think D'Amico and company and Matt Burke have shown Clint that they are a very, very good coaching staff, and we've seen how they look at talent. And I said it earlier, I'll eat crow. They've been able to make that thing work, and it has not been the issue that I thought it potentially could be. But clearly they see talent like you do and can see that he can play and cover. I don't know that this was necessarily just a he's not good enough to play type of thing. So that's why I would say it's not just a, hey, they call him back. Like the Chiefs, they brought back McCole Hardman. That wasn't just a, hey, we need an issue at wide receiver. He knows us. We know him. That thing ended fine. I don't know that this Des King thing is just a what he is able to do on the field thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's one of those deals where I look at it and look, they've tried Holman, they've tried Graylin Arnold. They got to there's a reason why they moved Jimmy Ward from safety to nickel defender. Now you say, well, even if Tavierre Thomas is the guy, and we're just going to agree to disagree on that, but even if they believe he's a guy that can play nickel down in, down out, you still got a depth problem. You still got the other options are still guys that you didn't think were good enough to the point where you moved your safety down to play nickel versus the Saints. So you still got a depth problem. There's still a need for a guy that's a veteran, that's cheap, that knows your system. Right? It still would make perfect sense. The only part that doesn't is I just don't believe that they left on good terms. And I'm not saying it was MF in the world and they didn't get along, but I believe that there was a lack of buy-in from Des King to some degree, and there was a history there with Nick, which we all know of. Hell, that was public knowledge last year, and I don't believe they're interested in having him in the organization. Could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see him in a Texans uniform, but I don't believe it's going to happen. Especially coming off of how they've been able to fill the void. Right. They've been able to I disagree. I disagree with that. Saying, I just don't. I'm just saying for them and what we've seen. It has not been a situation where I understand from the standpoint they had to bring Jimmy Ward down. It has just not been a situation where they have been killed by the nickel corner. Yeah, I don't think there's been a moment in a game where you've just been like, man, that nickel corner's getting ate up. I'll agree with that. But because they're dealing with other problems with two corners down against Atlanta, and there's all kind of issues that they've dealt with. But this would have been a better secondary and a significantly better secondary in some instances if Des King was still a Texan. I believe that. Yeah, I don't believe that you have. Like, I believe early in the season you were trying to rotate Tavierre Thomas in with a better cover guy and try to rotate it, and then you jumped over to the Graylin Arnold and the Holman deal, and now you go to Jimmy Ward and you move him down. It's been a constant revolving door, and it's not just because Tavierre Thomas is injured. I don't believe that they. Again, I don't believe my eyes are lying to me. I just don't believe that he's a guy that
no, they wanted to avoid him being in coverage.
I believe that, and so I do believe that has been. Now, there have been multiple problems over there, but I think that the Des King move was done for other reasons, not football reasons.
All right, coming up behind us as things get rolling, Texans All Access. All right, John Harris, Mark Vandermeer, that have you locked and loaded and set up for that. So stay tuned right behind us, as it is the bye week, but still a lot going on with the Texans. That comes up behind us right here on Sports Radio 610. It is that time, Tyler Milner.
Oh, hell.
Give me my damn music.
I need it from you, Bo. I need it.
We are now 3-1 when it comes to doing the lineups and the Astros getting wins. This is must win. I listen to greatness. Roger said it's must win. I listen to greatness. Roflo has fantastic hair. Championship hair. I don't know if it's avocado oil. I don't know what he's using, but he's using whatever Jimmy Johnson used. He has greatness in his hair. And they said it's must win. Then you got to get out there and win. Here is your starting lineups. leading off, playing second base. And damn it, you owe your team for the last 2 games. He may be 5'6", but baby, he carries the big stick. The second baseman, Jose Altuve.
Looks good.
And batting second for the first time all season. But this is his home, baby. This is his home. He is Mr. Professional. He hails from Bellevue, Washington. In left field, Michael Brantley. Hi, Mickey. Hi, Mickey.
You know, he's the man.
And batting third and playing third. Is that my brother's keeper? You're damn right it is. The real AB, Alex Bregman. And batting fourth, the designated hitter, who may not get pitched to at all tonight. But ladies, they love it when they call him Big Papa. Say they love it when they call him Big Papa. He's still tipping on them fofos. The designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez.
Who's your daddy now?
And batting fifth, the first baseman, Jose Abreu. And batting sixth. Now, damn it, I'm at a crossroads with your ass. Y'all may know him as Tampa Tuck or as King Tuck. I don't care what you call him. All I know is that damn ball better hit the bat tonight. Damn it, they need you, Kyle. You want to get the bag? Get it tonight. This became a motivational speech. I'm sorry. The right fielder, Kyle Tucker. And batting seventh, the center fielder. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No. It's that cannon attached to his arm. The center fielder, Mauricio Dubon. And batting eighth, the shortstop, the panty dropper, the pelvis thrust swinging, ravishing, Rick Rude-like, the shortstop who hasn't hit a damn homer since the 4th of July. Break it tonight, Jeremy Pena. And batting ninth, the number one person that half of Astros fans don't want to see play, but that's okay. The blonde bomber is here for you. Take care of Javi, please. Mr. Machetti Martin Maldonado. Go get a W. That is the Astros lineup. Roflo, thank you today. Thank you, Roger Clemens. Clint, great job as well. Tyler, great job. I am Ron Hughley, as always, Houston. We love you, baby. I need a drink.
Can we just let the bumper music play? I mean,
Yeah, let's take a turn that up, man. You ain't lying.
See breezy.
Come on, man. Let's get that, dog.
Yeah, there we go. These Stros ain't loyal.
Sports Radio 610. Not just the best sports talk in town, but the best looking guys in the game. And now we can prove it.